Hi, this is Samina Shaikh here on Mirchi Plus, and with me today I have Gaurav and Ananya, जिनकी काफी कहानी लगता है अधूरा रह चुकी है इसलिए they have come with this title called Adhura. So I really want to know from both of you why Adhura.
Let Ananya start. Thank you, firstly. Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Hi. Adhura title. I think the concept itself, what the story is about, that's what the title tries to encapture कि life में बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो अधूरी रह जाती हैं, चाहे वो बातें हो, काम हो, hopes, dreams, all of that. And the idea of the story is very much that the unfinished business. But we don't want it to seem like something negative. It's not just regret. Sometimes when you have something unfinished, there is a sense of काश मैं पूरा कर पाता या कर पाती, पर शायद अभी भी एक उम्मीद है उसको पूरा करने के लिए. You know, so it's a two-sided word for, at least for us, where it represents both the regret and the hope. That if you don't have the hope to finish something, then you don't have motivation to live. सब कुछ अगर complete हो गया तो फिर क्या life में फिर बचा क्या है?
That's true.
And since we're on Mirchi Plus, of course, कितने गाने हैं अधूरा अधूरे नाम से.
Correct.
There's a reason because I think that it's a great title, connects nicely.
Yeah.
And what she said, I mean, अधूरा also, of course, there's a sense of यार शायद वो कर लेता, but I don't think कोई भी इंसान है जिसको hope नहीं है शायद मैं अभी achieve करूँ और जिसके पास कुछ अधूरा पुराना छूटा नहीं है or some regret, right? So that's why it works. I mean, it's a very catchy phrase. That's the reason आप इतने गाने कितने होते हैं इस पे अधूरा तो बहुत ही है.
But you also feel, Gaurav, for that matter, that आत्माएं जो होती है, we always say that, जब उनकी death होती है, उनकी भी कुछ ख्वाहिशें रहती है जो, the way they die, why they come back. Why they come back after life is because they have certain things जो पूरी नहीं हुई है, following which they come back, like accident हो जाता है or they commit suicide or someone is killed, and those spirits actually mostly come back is what is the thought process rather than.
No, of course. I mean, in the sense, supernatural दुनिया हमारे culture में in India, it's just ingrained, right? आत्मा सबको पता है, शायद अच्छी हो, शायद बुरी हो. एंड कुछ अनफिनिश रह गया है तो वो आ जाती है. कभी कभी बोलते हैं, एक डायलॉग भी है ट्रेलर में कि आत्मा एक शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में जाती है. कभी कभी पीपल कौवा आ जाता है घर पे, बोलते हैं नहीं ये किसी की आत्मा है, इसमें कुछ खाना दे दो उसको. सो ऑफ कोर्स दैट अधूरानेस इज पार्ट of that, and it's part of our culture. I mean, in the sense you're very right that atma business.
In fact, ऐसे भी बोलते हैं ना, basically like पुनर्जन्म हुआ है. So for example, like अगर किसी के बच्चे की यानी birth होता है, so we say कि इसमें इसकी नाना जी की spirit है.
Correct.
Or he's come like he's come via this, and if you lose someone very recently, and then you see that okay, my mother's spirit has come in my child like that. We say that a lot, very often in Indian culture.
Often, and that's the reason. Like I said, it's culturally so ingrained in us that the concept of is never alien. किसी की आत्मा किसी में चले गई, अपना कुछ काम पुराना काम जो बचा था या कुछ उम्मीद थी या कुछ रिवेंज था या जो भी था वो
But as we talk about आत्माओं का exchange, inter-exchange right now, एक होता है कि पुनर्जन्म and all these things, spiritual activities and all, और एक होता है for example गौरव के अंदर किसी की आत्मा आ गई and then he starts behaving very weird and wicked.
फुल मून के रात को होता है शायद.
हाँ, people say a lot. फुल मून के टाइम पे या पूर्णिमा के टाइम पे स्पेशली पूर्णिमा के टाइम पे स्पेशली बोलते that there is something which happens and all, and
so if I ever behave wrong on a full moon night, please sorry, it's not my fault. एक आत्मा आ गई मेरे में, उसकी fault है.
But ऐसे आप लोगों के साथ में कभी हुआ like while shooting for Adhura also?
While shooting for Adhura, did we get possessed?
Yeah, possessed. Any of you?
I think the only thing that possessed us during the shooting of Adhura was Adhura. We were just so possessed by the idea of it, the execution, the story of it. उसके अलावा मतलब और किसी spirit की घुसने की जगह ही नहीं थी. But otherwise in terms of supernatural activity, otherwise in general, of course I think a lot of people have these stories. They also believe I definitely have, and there's a little bit of a joke in my house that how people say कि जगह possessed है, haunted है. पर इन माई हाउस जैसे कि ये कुछ लोग ही पोजेस्ड होते हैं, कुछ लोग ही हॉन्टेड होते हैं, जहाँ भी ये जाए ये अट्रैक्ट करते
लाइक
हैं.
इट सेज ना वो हमारे स्टार्स होते हैं.
हाँ, कुछ एनर्जी
उसको
होती है जो
energy आपको
उस
attract करेगी.
फ्रीक्वेंसी पे वाइब करती
या
है.
एग्जैक्टली
So-
आत्माओं की फ्रीक्वेंसी पे.
So I used to live in a house in Goa, which was haunted, and I didn't think it was haunted, obviously, because वो first thought, at least मेरा first thought तो वो नहीं होता. So it was a big house with 3 floors and a glass wall and a glass ceiling, and every night I used to hear cutlery, chairs dragging in the kitchen, as if कोई move कर रहा है. And I thought कहीं से आवाज़ आ रही होगी. ऐसे बहुत दिन हुआ.
Oh,
फिर someone else came to stay in my house and they also said क्या तुम्हें सुनाई दे रहा है.
okay.
And then the activity started increasing and increasing, and I remember this one particular day when I was working on my laptop and I sensed something behind me, and when I turned around there was a cat, and it was just staring at me like this. And I don't like cats make me uncomfortable, okay, because I don't know which way they'll go. बड़े unpredictable type
वो
के
तो है.
creatures है. You know, like dogs में पता चल जाता है भूखा है,
हाँ.
प्यार चाहिए. वो cat का पता नहीं. तो it just
Plus
kept.
उन पे भरोसा नहीं कर सकते. You can't trust them.
I feel like I can't, but
Yeah.
people who have cats as pets,
They love them.
they are
Yes.
like बहुत अच्छा है या हो सकता है अच्छा है,
हाँ.
but मुझे समझ में नहीं आते. So when I looked back, it was just staring at me like this, and then it just turned around and started walking to my basement.
Okay.
And it was so funny. I felt like in that moment that I was in some sort of a trance, and I started following it
Oh.
without any
ये वो
questions.
मोमेंट है जब पिक्चर बोलते हैं मत
ज-
जाओ मत जाओ
मत जाओ मत जाओ. स्पेशली
And-
ना हॉलीवुड फिल्म में जो कैरेक्टर को होता है कि नहीं जाना है,
जाते
वो
ही.
जाता ही रहता है.
And in my head also I kept saying क्यों जा रहे हो मत जाओ but I kept going, and I reached the basement and went inside this door which was half open. There was a room in the basement. It had no windows, nothing. It was just a storage room. तो थोड़ा सा दरवाज़ा खुला हुआ था, and it went in, and I just stopped at the door and said what am I doing, and I just shut the door with it inside, and I kept standing at the door कि अब मैंने कैट को कमरे में बंद कर दिया है. अब मेरी जो दीदी घर पे काम करती थी वो आएगी और वो कैट को बाहर निकालेगी. Literally 15 minutes she came to the house. We opened the door. The cat had disappeared into thin air. Like the cat no longer existed.
Wow.
और वहाँ कोई exit नहीं था, कोई window, कोई hole. It was like a room like this. अब इस room में cat कहाँ जाएगी?
Correct.
But it was disappeared. Like it had gone. And that was one of the most freaky things I've ever experienced in my life. Especially with a cat, which is like the last thing. If someone wants to possess me, they should not send a cat. They should send like a dog. मैं चली भी जाती.
मैं चली भी जाऊँ, खुशी खुशी चले
बिल्ली
जाऊँ.
गलत चीज भेज दिया.
बट
what
पे किसी की याद नहीं मेरे नॉट एक्सपीरियंस. मैं आई वेंट टू अ बोर्डिंग स्कूल. जैसा स्कूल है वैसा ही, मतलब 100 साल पुराना, ऑल दैट. ऑफ कोर्स कहानियां सुनते रहते थे बचपन से. यू ऑलवेज हियर अबाउट. कोई बोलेगा नहीं मैं वहाँ गया था असेंबली हॉल में सब भूत दिखे थे, सब फोटो से बाहर आ गए थे, या वो स्टैचू रात को जाग जाता है. तो द स्टोरीज यू हियर व्हिच इज दैट दैट क्लासिक कैंप फायर स्टोरी. दैट्स व्हाई आई मीन फॉर मी इट वाज वेरी एक्साइटिंग बिकॉज यू आर इन अ बोर्डिंग स्कूल. एक सीन भी है जो उन्होंने शूट किया है कैंप फायर के बाहर बैठे हुए जो रीयूनियन के लिए आए हुए हैं, और वो कह रहे पता है वो बच्चा वो पोजेस्ड है, बोल रहे लोग उसने ये किया था. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ एन एम्बियंस. या बट शूट पे कभी कभी हमारे अंदर निखिल का भूत आ जाता था व्हेन वी स्टार्ट शाउटिंग एट पीपल एंड बिहेविंग लाइक अरे ये क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है.
एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन एक अलग टाइप का होता था. इट वाज लाइक ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन.
जब उस टाइम पे हम शूट कर रहे थे तो हमारा आई थिंक द ओनली फियर वाज कि कोविड ना घुस जाए, बिकॉज़ वी वर शूटिंग इन द मिडल ऑफ द थर्ड वेव. So more than any bhoot at that time we were like कि भूत.
I think COVID itself was a ghost.
Yes.
ये COVID
COVID itself was a ghost.
अरे इसको बीमारी के लक्षण दिख रहे हैं.
That's the reason we are still paranoid about it. Like
खासा एक खासा कोई देखा
कोई खासा कोई वापस कोविड ना आ
अभी
जाए.
कोविड के टाइम पे कोई खास था तो
Like we
फिर
should
मतलब
name COVID as a ghost.
Absolutely, and that time it was a real fear.
It was. But honestly, when we talk about spirit and all, and and I told you about stars and all, I basically believe, in ghosts and all. And I have seen as a child, basement wali story thi meri bhi. But मैं रोटी लेने जा रही थी because I saw some chapatis over there, and I was a kid. I was like 3-4 years old, and I remember saying this during the event also. And I just went and I saw some spirit calling me in a whitish thing and all, and just calling me. And I woke up in the hospital the other day. And like after 2 days actually I woke up and I was in ICU. I was like, I drowned. Someone like got me out, someone from my family and all. And it was in Gujarat, like, and I came out basically, and I don't remember, but I remember that spirit properly. And just few years ago, I went to that place again in broad daylight, because it's my aunt's ka like kitchen ke side pe only. And there is a like a sketch being made of his picture now.
Oh
Of
wow,
that,
I got
yeah.
So
goosebumps.
multiple people saw that.
So basically, I think maybe someone else must have also seen that. But now there is a sketch, and he's the same person, like same spirit which I saw.
Oh
I
my
got
God,
goosebumps.
that's
See,
really
this
And
is
that's
what.
that's
scary.
actually real because I still remember. Like I still remember. Like I was actually very like a child in fact,
Correct.
5-6 years old that time,
Oh
and I
wow.
still remember that.
But what happened in those 2 days? You don't remember?
I don't remember at all.
पानी
So
में
how
कैसे
you
पहुंचे
ended
कुछ
up
भी
in the
नहीं.
And I
water?
drowned. Like there was water, imagine, but मुझे पानी दिखा ही नहीं. I just saw chapatis over there, on the basement area, and I just went to pick that up, and then I saw that person calling me. I kept the chapatis. Remember, just imagine that I still remember that, and I drowned. Someone got me out. Someone who knew swimming, and they just got me out. And
But there was
imagine,
like a water body there.
yeah,
No.
but it was not visible. There was no water body.
So when they pulled you out, who pulled you out?
Some
Some
my cousin,
local
because
people
of
or
course I
someone
may
would
have
have
made some noise, or because my aunt luckily was making chai that time, so she must have realized like this kid is missing actually, and then she must have realized like I'm there. But imagine, I could have drowned. I could have
Yeah.
died.
That's
I mean, sorry to
really
say
The
that,
spirit
but
never came back again.
that incident never happened again
Okay.
with me, but the water incident happened with me again 2-3 times when I went to a river and someone was trying to drag me, pull me down. And
So-
ever since then, I have an aquaphobia. Like I'm very much cautious to go in a swimming pool also.
So if you when you watch the show, episode 2 का start देखना.
Yeah.
थोड़ा संभल के.
Yeah, because and honestly, then when I see all these things, I believe in it because I feel
No, no.
ghosts are there.
I think we all believe in it.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be very few people in the world, also in
Yeah.
India, where you don't sense have के but like we discussed शुरू में, right? वो एक
हाँ.
आत्मा, वो जो चीज, वो जगह कुछ ना कुछ तो like हम लोग ऊटी में जब भी थे,
हाँ.
लोकेशन रेकी पे गए
हाँ,
थे.
हाँ.
तो एक लोकेशन पे they used to take us to these भूत places any which ways. So there was like a space, वहाँ पे एक outhouse था
हाँ.
जो धूर नीचे था, and green grass suddenly काला grass हो गया है उधर,
Okay.
because the shrubs are all dead.
Oh.
Green patch के बाद वहाँ पे there's a little cottage across where she went and she saw it, and she'll tell you further that
No, I just feel like now I'm telling you these stories, but you've been through something so traumatic
goosebumps recently.
that
It's
I'm
like
first of all really sorry that you went through it.
But
I don't
no,
even know what to say.
Just imagine, like I still remember something which I don't feel traumatized to be honest, but I feel like it's an experience when you have it. You feel that you trust that okay. Otherwise, we keep on
No,
feeling that,
absolutely,
nahi, nahi,
because
types,
all the
you know.
time also you also try to think of scientific reasons for it. Like what I
Exactly.
told you, that I kept thinking दूर से कहीं से आवाज आ रही होगी, कुछ और हुआ होगा, सर पे चोट लगी होगी, हो गई होगी, maybe you're hallucinating, maybe you're not feeling well,
Exactly.
maybe it's a fever.
Yeah.
So you think of everything, and जहाँ तुम्हारी जो cognitive brain है वो जहाँ रुक जाती है, beyond that is the supernatural.
Yeah.
You know, there's a dialogue in our show also where he says something in this world cannot be explained.
Yes.
You know, because you've tried every way to explain it, and when you can't, that's when you think that there has to be something more. Because when you go through something like that, how do you make peace with it without saying kuch to hai?
Kuch to hai, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
that's a
But
big
now,
lesson.
see, basically, even we are humans eventually, then now after seeing, such movies, and in fact, the trailer is just too good, the cinematography and all these things. I feel that people should have a different approach to ghost stories also, They should not just say that, oh, okay, theek hai, it's again like a fictitious character or, like that. They should have some trust is what I feel.
No, so that's
No,
why-
absolutely, because I think that when you talk about horror as a genre, and what we've tried to also, what our endeavor has been with Adhura, is that if I say it's just a spirit or just a ghost, it's a very limited fear. And as an audience, it's not even happening to you, it's happening to a character in your screen. So there is a sense of distance. So how do you bridge that distance? How do you make them feel like they are in it? It is happening to them. Not just simply by jump scares, because उस point पे एक second के लिए डर जाओगे. पर वो जो डर वो जहन में जो बैठ जाता है ना, उसके लिए you need something a little more.
True.
Which is basically everything that you fear in your everyday world. The fears that we live with every day, things that give us anxiety, things that, how will I face someone? How will if I do this, will I be judged? The fear of a childhood trauma. you know, like for instance, what you said, aquaphobia. Now
Yeah.
that is a very real fear for you.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, but it, you know, wherever it may have come from, it is a real fear. Those fears in our everyday life are very debilitating. Much bigger than a ghost, much bigger than just a spirit. So I think that's the idea, that कि सिर्फ उसको उसमें limit नहीं करना है. We try to tell a story that encompasses not just the supernatural but also psychological fears, and that's how I think you bridge the gap and make the audience relate to it and make it universal.
Like in the sense, like you said, the trailer. What I find interesting, what I found interesting about the story always also, it was set in a real world. एक कहीं भूत बंगले में धूर कहीं नहीं हो रहा था. Like you said, आप you were just शायद घर से नीचे गए
Exactly.
और वहाँ पे नॉर्मल सर्कमस्टांस था. तो एक कैंपस में, कॉरिडोर में, क्लासरूम में, सब शायद बोर्डिंग स्कूल ना ही गए हो, बट एक क्लासरूम, कॉरिडोर्स, हॉस्टल लाइफ, दैट वर्ल्ड. सो सेट इन अ रियल वर्ल्ड. ऐसे नहीं कि रात को ही हो रहा है, दिन में, in that aspect. And what she said about the emotional connect of things, the feelings that one has, and वो feeling जो आपके अंदर से फिर वहाँ पे, because your characters are feeling that also. Once you connect those two, ना, in the sense, the show talks about, deals with bullying. We talk about homophobia. There's a bunch of those things.
Exactly, you have those different
Yeah,
phobias
so you're
basically
taking the
coming out.
horrors of society and putting it in this genre, and I think that's what hopefully makes it stand out, because it feels like, okay, this is एक thriller है, thriller
Correct.
of course है, mystery है, but oh, इसके साथ में भी horror भी है, and it's talking about something. So hopefully that's what makes it stands out.
Exactly.
And visually, if that helps, yes.
I personally feel, on a lighter note, that I may end up seeing a ghost in this coming week and all, because I'm just meeting Adhura team. I have met Rasika today. I met Ishwak today. I did an interview with them. Just 2-3 days ago, again I did interview with Shrenik and Ishwak, and now I am doing
Yes.
with y'all. So I feel that ghost is somewhere around me, only he's wandering. कि अच्छा ठीक है, अभी तुम मधुरा देखने वाली हो कि नहीं? He might be haunting me. I
तो
feel.
जब देखोगे तो ये बता रहा, तभी आएगा
Exactly.
शायद.
And that reminds me about this character, especially right now, over here. Why so inspired by Groot?
No,
Groot
he's
in a wicked
not
mood.
inspired by Groot. Of Groot's a fab character.
Groot is
But
the
no,
Groot
not
the
really.
Groot.
Groot grows, huh?
Yeah.
Groot is like somebody who can, वो मतलब टूट के भी वापस उग जाएगा.
उग जाएगा,
तो
correct.
एक जो आत्मा या भूत है, वो शायद बहुत सालों बाद वापस
उग जाएगी.
उग जाएगा.
I like this perspective because when we conceptualized him, of course, we didn't think of Groot. But I think that's what's so exciting about any sort of art. Is that we make it with a certain meaning, and then when you watch it, you make your own meanings of it, and like how you're saying,
It's all your imagination.
Yeah.
eventually,
you're
yeah.
meeting a Dhura team, and you're expecting a ghost. We are also meeting all of you guys and hearing perspectives, and we're also very excited. Ki, oh, acha, they found that cool,
Yeah.
or they found this interesting. Oh, they think it's like Groot. It's I'm quite fascinated by this perspective of yours.
But I want to see some paranormal activities taking place over here. ये कॉफी का मग दिख रहा है ना यहाँ पर?
That's what I was telling.
है
ना?
Yeah,
ये
वाला,
यहाँ
हाँ.
पर, ये वाला ना?
हाँ, ये बहुत अच्छी
दिख रहा है ना
कॉफी
आपको? बहुत अच्छी कॉफी
बहुत
है ना?
अच्छी कॉफी है.
You should have it
Yeah,
actually.
have-
है ना? Please have it.
Yeah, please, yeah, Ananya, have to watch, yeah.
Arey, we have. That's the thing, if you like this genre, you're very excited to write, direct, produce, make, create this world.
ये miracle था या क्या था? या paranormal activity
did it.
थी?
नहीं, I didn't do anything.
या
You
तो
did it.
कैसे?
गौर से देखिए. I should be doing that. I think the news reporting
I
style.
was just gonna tell you कि हमारे पास सेट पे इसकी वो
See, I
टेक्निक्स
told
होती
you,
है
like, but
कि हम तंगूस वगैरह लगा देते हैं, पर ये there is no तंगूस here.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I was supposed to meet a ghost. I think somewhere around he's like, चलो अभी तुम लोग की चाय भी गिरा
Watched
रहा
up and said श्रेनिक को आजू में रखेंगे.
हाँ,
So,
श्रेनिक को
in the
आजू
sense-
बाजू.
Did you ask Ishwak about his horror meeting of a ghost story?
Yes, and
उसने
I
बताई,
spoke
मसूरी वाली
at
बताई कि
length.
अमेरिका वाली बताई?
नहीं वो देहरादून वाली बताई उसने.
हाँ, वही
Yeah,
मसूरी
मसूरी वाली.
वाली.
Yeah.
इंडियन चुड़ैल.
Indian चुड़ैल.
एक उसकी अमेरिकन चुड़ैल भी है.
हाँ, अमेरिकन चुड़ैल तो उसने बता दिया था हमें. Almost, at the trailer launch.
Yeah, correct.
And
Yeah.
Indian चुड़ैल वाला उसने जो बताया मुझे, I was like, wow.
And his dad also saw the same person.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that was like very much like scary actually. And अभी मैं फिलहाल इश्वाक को आज ही like थोड़ा सा स्पूकी वे में तो नहीं, बट यू नो फनी वे में स्पूकी हरकतें करके आई हूँ बाय टेलिंग हिम दैट यू नो मेरे ऑफिस में घोस्ट है,
और वो अब पहुंच
और मैंने उनको रेस्ट रूम तक का लेकर गई हूँ, एंड देन आई हैव रिकॉर्डेड दैट एंड आई हैव टेकन
Oh,
हिम देयर.
nice.
No, he's like, I have some spirits in me, and I can, you know, match the energy, you know, let me go and feel it and all.
Yeah, yeah, Ishwar
And he could
Pratap.
literally believe it, I feel, you know, so I
Yeah.
kind of like, my
he's
fun
also a
worked.
believer.
Yeah, he's a big
Yeah,
believer,
yeah,
actually,
he's a
yeah.
I think even Rasika's a believer
I think
because she
when you-
gets scared.
Yeah, she gets scared a lot. So
There's
she
a
can't
reason
watch horror stories, actually.
She
She
can't
doesn't
read,
watch.
she can't hear it. You
Yeah.
can't even make a big eyes at her. You know, she's that level of.
So for her, it was a very natural performance. Method
Oh,
acting कर रही
method
थी,
acting
वो डर ही नहीं थी.
डर ही नहीं थी वो. But imagine taking an actor like her who's actually scared and you know is doing the role.
No, but listen, she's such a fab performer, right?
That's
So
it.
in the sense that even in spite of not watching and not the performance that she brings out is so good, and that is just a compliment to her. I mean, imagine saying normally you'd say यार मुझे करना ही नहीं है,
नहीं.
I'll stay away from this
Exactly.
queue, but no, I will do it. I'll take the challenge up and I will perform, and she's done a wonderful job. It's not. She's very good. So is Ishfaq. I mean, both of them.
She's darpoke when it comes to supernatural, but she's not darpoke when it comes to being an artist. You know, so she really was like, I'll rise to this horror genre challenge of performance.
Yeah.
But she is yet to rise to the supernatural challenge in real life.
That's very good actually about her. She's taken that challenge. Like मैं करके बताऊंगी. इसके लिए मुझे you know even if I want a national award for this, मैं naturally you know I'll get into that character to be honest. But also you know on a lighter note, to both of you, कभी आप लोग ने बचपन में ये ऐसा खेला है like you know इस आत्मा को बुलाओ.
Yes,
you know
yes,
that
Ouija board वाला.
Yeah, exactly.
बचपन में मैंने अभी खेला था. I had gone with Saif, Kareena to
हाँ.
Pathori.
Okay,
And
हाँ.
Saif loves ghost stories. I mean, he's
Okay,
somebody
yeah.
who really loves
Yeah.
it.
And he worked in Bhoot Police
He
also.
loves the show, and he's like, yeah, those 1940s horror. Yes.
Oh,
He
wow.
really likes that world.
हाँ, हाँ.
And वो तैमूर को भी दिखाता है बैठ के, I think.
Oh wow, okay.
But so वहाँ पे we tried to play the Ouija board game, जिसे वो जो fold
हाँ,
करके
हाँ,
बुलाते
हाँ,
हैं.
हाँ.
तो but क्या था, I was there, he was there, his some friends from England were down, so they were all there. और हम पतौड़ी में बैठे हुए हरियाणा में, और सब बात कर रहे इंग्लिश में. तो मैंने बोला यहाँ पे अंग्रेजी सीखने वाला घोस्ट कहाँ से आएगा वो मुझे नहीं पता है.
Exactly. Unless in गोवा में तो शायद chances भी होते हैं actually.
पतौड़ी में हरियाणा में ये इंग्लिश सीखने वाला
18th century का कुछ
हाँ, शायद कोई अंग्रेज का
कोई
घोस्ट आ
queen
जाए.
आ जाए और
Instead
follow.
of, you know, officers or queen.
Exactly. We like that.
Lord Chancellors के ghost ही चाहिए.
और she's been watching this genre since she was 6-7 years old. So
But I have never called spirits, and I'm a very firm believer कि one should not disturb.
But when y'all tried, did anything happen?
नहीं, कुछ हुआ नहीं.
Because
Language ही wrong
sometimes
थी.
what they say that apparently language really wrong, but sometimes what happens na, even after you play that game and you leave it na, in
If you don't
some or
close
the
it,
other
yeah.
person's dreams it ends
Could
up
be.
coming or like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you
I
connect
No, but what
that.
happened over there was that after that people started talking about the experience
Okay.
of having encountered a spirit, and these were not even there was a lady from England, and she was talking about it,
Oh,
how
I
she
see.
encountered in this one house, and it was like there constantly. So it is a real thing, right? People across cultures.
Did Saif encountered ever?
I don't think so. उसने बताया तो नहीं मुझे अभी तक. पूछना
I do
पड़ेगा,
believe
पूछूंगा.
that.
Because I think he got
Lord,
that
he
wow
can
accent maybe from the ghost, if at all.
नहीं, I think उसने किया होगा तो go gone वाला किया होगा.
Yeah.
मैं दिल्ली से हूँ.
Really.
Beep beep.
Zombies. But for both of you, it's your first ghost movie,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a genre experimented a lot in, you know, and if you see the old Bollywood movies, na, like if you see that B grade, C grade one, you know, the way the ghost stories are, you know, it's very different. And now, of course, the subject itself has developed so much. You see Bhoot Police, you see Phone Booth, you see Bhul Bhulaiya 2, you see Bhul Bhulaiya 1 also, and you
Yeah.
know now we have Adhura. Do you sometimes feel that the subject interests the Indian audience also a lot?
Absolutely, it does.
I think the as long the story connects, right? I mean, firstly, to do the genre is exciting and challenging because we don't make that many of it. Yes, horror comedy bana denge, or you make this full entertaining world out of it. So Bhoot Police was Bhul Bhulaiya was very good. I watched it.
Yeah.
but just to the genre itself is exciting. To tell the story of these people is exciting, and now you add the thrill of horror and the excitement that comes with it. That is what will make it. Plus, as a series, I don't think that's been done. So somewhere that excitement to do it was from there. Okay, of course, it's being done from everybody, from Prime Video to MA. Everybody was like, okay, wow, let's attempt this and make it as mainstream as possible. Don't shy away कि ये mainstream है.
Correct.
And make it large, make it visually appealing, do all that. Get the best VFX, get the best prosthetic people, action teams, all involved, and the excitement to try and achieve that is what was fun for me.
I'd like to say that I think the horror genre has always been exciting. Even the B-grade films that you're talking about,
Yeah.
people remember it fondly. You know, the Ramsay brothers, all of that, even back then when there was not enough technology,
Yeah.
people remember the stories. People will tell you, wo ek episode tha jisme, you know, so it is that genre where your mainstream commercial is as exciting as your B-grade slasher, as your zombie, as your body horror. There is an audience for it, you know, otherwise why are people making it? And people have been making it for years.
Yeah.
I mean, a master of filmmaking that our country produced, Satyajit Ray, made a horror film, you know, which people don't talk of in his body of work. I think only Bengalis who have grown up watching his films talk about it, but he did, because there is something so poetic as well as something so lasting about this genre. It's not just this moment mein tum dar gaye. Like I said, people say, hafton baad I couldn't go to the bathroom alone.
Yeah.
Hafton baad I was thinking about that one visual that was stuck in my head. Or that story of that one boy or that one girl or that one forest or that one well.
Yeah.
You know, it haunts you to the point where even 30 years later as a grown-up person, if I'm walking in the woods, I'll remember the visual of some movie. This genre absolutely works because it talks directly to your, you know, that self preservation hota hai na,
Correct.
अपना कि डर भी रहे हो पर बचना भी है.
हाँ.
You
वो
know,
एक होता है अंदर से खलबली होती है,
exactly. So
literally.
when you watch a horror, you say जंगल में मत जा.
हाँ.
Why do you say that? It's because that self preservation
Or maybe don't keep your
kicks
hair
in.
open. ये जगह पे मत जाना.
Yeah.
You know, don't wear the perfume,
Yeah.
bang and treat. And all
Exactly,
these things
exactly.
we do.
Because the whole time it is also a life affirming genre.
Correct.
Nobody wishes for people to die in this genre. You know, nobody says बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है. There is a sense of you want the good people to survive. You know, you want them to run away. And in
Exactly.
everyday life, you feel that same way about yourself. You know, so that way. It'll always be an appealing genre. You know, I just feel like with increasing technology, with techniques becoming better, we'll keep getting better. But there is an audience because it speaks to everyone.
True.
No, also like in the sense, just adding to that, जैसे हम कहते हैं आत्मा, right? There's a sense of something unfinished. Somebody has come back to finish. So एक redemption and revenge are such great storytelling elements that you will that itself is redemption. There's revenge. That वो genre के साथ आता है. उसके बिना a ghost is only coming back to do something that was either undo a wrong. उनके साथ जो हुआ था कुछ उसका revenge ले रहा है. तो that itself is such a classic. If that works, then you're like,
Exactly.
yes, you prove emotively connected to
Yeah.
to the ghost.
Exactly.
Okay,
Like, because
yes, we want you to take that
Take
revenge,
that
right?
revenge,
In
yeah.
the sense,
Correct.
like I think Raj, the first one, that is what it was. We want you to take that revenge
Yeah.
because something bad happened to
Bad
you.
happened to you,
And
correct.
20 साल बाद या जो भी आप आके please कीजिए वो चीज, and you root for that thing.
Yeah.
So that is the great part of the genre because you will connect to that person. Then yes, if you don't, of course, but once you connect, then that's
yeah.
great.
And lastly, as we talk about revenge, Shrenik has been the right person, I think, to be taking revenge or, you know, being acting in that way. Like, that kid is just too good.
He is.
How did you all, like, you know, get him into that character? He's like, I made him do some, you know, dialogues in a possessed way. And he literally got into that possessed. And I was like, something is wrong with this guy. He is already like blessed with one, I think. And he shared an experience of, you know, feeling something eerie during the trailer launch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the restroom. Yeah, and
Oh
he
yeah,
spoke
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
on the lights.
On
Yes.
the lights one, and yeah.
Yeah.
No, Shrenik, you know, in the sense
So
to
the light
cast him.
goes off on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one did it, you know. He was like,
So Shrenik was found. We did a casting search, our casting letter covered Sinha all over India, and Shrenik is from Bangalore, and we found him in the first slot. But फिर भी ढूंढने की try की और, but he was very good. And you met him, and he's such a nice, well-spoken,
Yeah.
quiet kid. Reads his books, does all that, and he's got a sense. He's smart also. So for him to catch on to things was that much easier. He reads fantasy books. So for him
Yeah.
to understand things. I think Ananya we did workshops with him. We had a Varad was a child acting coach who was there throughout.
okay,
So there was a lot of work done with Shrenik and this and that. And in the workshops, sometimes the kid might not understand what you're talking about, but if you give him an example of some fantasy book, there's particular Harry Potter, suppose वहाँ से कुछ बताओगे, remember like how that was, oh yes. So वो connection banana was driven, and I mean I'll give a lot of credit to her because she shot a lot with him.
Yes.
And also did the workshops.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to. This is odd because it's like holding on to life. No, I think it's one of those cases where the stars align. You write a world and you visualize it a certain way. And when we met Shrenik, who plays Vedant, it just felt like the stars had aligned because this child was so perfect in every way. First of all, yes, he looks that way, with those beautiful eyes, and that calmness that his
Exactly.
physical body has. It's he doesn't have the spurti of a child. He's very calm,
Yeah,
very
very
grounded.
calm, very yeah.
Which works when you have to stand and stare. It works a lot.
And the way he stares.
Yeah.
But also because he's a very sharp kid. So he took
Yeah, like
instructions very well, and he learned, he would make his notes. Very dedicated, very sincere child. So we got lucky. Thanks to Kavish who found him, Varad who worked with him, all of us working with him. Lucky. Yeah, we just got lucky.
And lastly, would you want to continue this, as a series? As
Yes.
Absolutely.
So how many
No,
seasons
that
will we get to see?
That is-
Oh, now
first
that's
season.
interesting, yeah.
But there is, you see, the seasons will be left at a certain point. There is an idea to take it forward. I mean, she's
There is,
working on it.
there's always, we're creators.
Yeah.
Our brains are always working, and because of this especially all this whole promotion week of Adhura, we're meeting so many people like you.
Yes.
See, there is no dearth of these stories. So why
As you
would
more, I'll
we?
tell you offline.
Yeah, of course. But there's why would we not explore it? And the great part is the enthusiasm with which we're meeting people who are saying, "Wow, horror! Wow, it's scary! It's about a boarding school! It's about a kid." So. I mean, we'd be happy to supply if there is a demand. Because also we have so many stories of our
Exactly, yeah. I'm sure Adhura story.
अधूरा कैसे पूरा हो सकता है वो तो चलता ही रहेगा ना.
Yeah, but like try and make it some fun wala now this time.
Yeah.
Second one. Thoda sa, it will be different to see.
Okay.
How
Some
ghosts
suggestions.
actually act, when they're in the funny zone.
Like when they're in the nightclub.
Nightclub, yeah. Suddenly they just
The
come.
lights go
The lights
off
go off.
and everyone starts dancing.
Someone acting like a stunt, but there is the ghost. Look,
It's
I'll
like
show
that
it to
Michael
you.
Jackson music video, Thriller. It's like everyone's
So,
dancing.
Yeah.
so the ghosts come out from niche se kuch.
Zombie feeling complete.
Correct.
So thank you so much for your lovely time and all the
Thank
very
you so
best.
much.
Before I let both of you go, hi, this is Gaurav, this is Ananya, and you're watching us on Mirchi Plus.
Hi, this is Ananya and you're watching me on Mirchi Plus.
Hi, this is Gaurav, and you're watching me on Mirchi Plus.